Hey guys, Wincher here. I want to take a break from what I usually do and just talk about some things. Take a break from the commentaries, reviews, tactics, all that stuff, and just talk about some news related Battlefield and unrelated. Talk about some hot topics out there, and I've backed it up here with some G3 footage that I've compiled from Team Deathmatch. Got some pretty big kill streaks here, 18 and 20 plus kill streaks. Using this gun, I'm having a lot of fun with this gun again. Picked it up here recently again, and really liking I always like high damage weapons, even if they have a lower fire rate. To me, it's more comfortable in a lot of scenarios. But pay attention to the fire modes I use in this gun, switching between fully automatic and semi-automatic. Here's a nice little clip coming up. Mortar strikes going off. That just looks real pretty in Battlefield 3. You know, those mortar strikes going off there a few feet away from me. Even though the mortar is completely useless, it sure looks pretty. A lot of nice eye candy there with that weapon. But first thing I'll talk about here, I guess, is why I'm using this gun and why you don't see me use the mainstream weapons out there that you see everybody else using. In particular, the three weapons I'm referring to are the M16A3, the AEK-971, and the F2000. Personally, they just don't work for me. It's about using guns that you like in this game, but more than that, it's my opinion, if you ask me, that if all the advanced players out there, you're talking, the big YouTube guys, all the top players in the world and all that stuff, if all those players are using the same gun, let's just say the M16A3, for example, it's my conclusion that if everybody is that good with one gun, that one gun is probably overpowered, in my opinion. And I don't like to go on tantrums about overpowered weapons and stuff like that, but this is all I'm going to say about it. I mean, that's my synopsis on it. If everybody's using it, there must be something fishy about it if everybody is that good with it. I mean, I've seen guys with, that's like the only gun they use is the M16A3. I mean, to me, that's just boring. I mean, gotta add some flavor, move on to a different woman or something, you know what I mean? Well, I shouldn't say that, I'm married. But anyway, to me, Battlefield, I really enjoy picking up different weapons and experiencing what those weapons bring to the table. If you just stick with one gun, I mean, you may as well just, what is that all about? Don't get me wrong, those guns are incredible at all situations. Short range, you can just spray and pray. You burst fire at long range, bullets land on target. I mean, several of them. But to me, if a gun's firing at 900 rounds a minute, it shouldn't be accurate up to, long distances. It should only be good at short ranges. But those guns, for some reason, you can use them in all kinds of scenarios. So I think they're just grossly overpowered, and I've been calling for a nerf on those guns for a long time, but apparently my requests have been falling on deaf ears, But that's why I use the guns I use. It's just kind of less mainstream to kind of keep you aware that there is other guns out there besides 3 guns in the game. Now, close quarters. Speaking of close quarter situations, right? I put a review out of close quarters. I liked it for about a week. It's like everybody else, and now I'm kind of like, let me go back to Battlefield that I know. I'm not saying that close quarters is a complete disaster, but I would buy it again. I mean, it's fun to me to have an alternative play style on different maps and stuff like that. But the good thing about Battlefield, I think Battlefield Premium really saved close quarters, because instead of us having to just dish out, $20 for a DLC pack, we're basically for $50 we're getting everything there is that's going to come out related to Battlefield 3. And I think that was a good move on DICE's behalf. But close quarters, I don't think it's really the gem of the bunch. I think it was more designed for console type players as opposed to PC setups, just because of the limited player number counts. I mean, I can't imagine playing some of these maps on close quarters with 64 players on a server. I mean, it's bad enough with just 16. But as a console player, I got to say, it's just not as much fun long term as I expected it to be. At first, it was a little bit of fun, and then it started to get frustrating. And it's all related to the spawning, the map design and stuff. I was expecting more maps, kind of like Operation Metro, maybe just a little more spanned out than. They really are genuinely a little too cluttered up, I think. Yeah, points. Some of the map construction, it does feel balanced enough to where you got, you got some room to breathe. But all in all, I think they could have just done a little bit better with the map design. And I mean, I would have been happy if they would just poured over some maps from Bad Company 2. I liked a lot of those maps. Like I guess it was called what was it, White Pass? I want to say, where you're playing out in the snow, and it was kind of like. You had that river going through the map. If they would just had that area with those few buildings, like those capture points, that would have been a great map to bring over to Battlefield 3. I think that would have been a great option. But close quarters, I'm just finding myself not playing it that much. It's just, I certainly don't like Conquest Domination. I can't stand that game mode. It's just frantic running around. It doesn't feel like much strategy to me. But Team Deathmatch on it's tolerable. But not like these maps. I like these maps much more with Battlefield 3 for Team Deathmatch and compared to the close quarters maps. But my predictions on Armored Kill, I got mixed feelings about it. I'm really excited about the AC-130 gunship, but if you guys played with Back to Karkin when it came out, you remember when the F-35 came out on that content? And how everybody just could give a shit about the map in the course of the game. All they want to do is spawn camp the F-35 to get in it so they can fly it around. I think that's going to be the same thing we're going to see with Armored Kill. I'm not a big tank driver. I don't play Battlefield 3 for the tank engagements. And the fact that we're going to having massive maps on Armored Kill, as a console player, I don't see that being a big draw. Now, again, if you're PC, it's like that's kind of geared for you because you can have these massive tank battles and all that stuff. But that's not, again, why I play Battlefield. I don't play for the vehicles. I play for the gun side of it. If I want to play vehicles and, fly airplanes around, stuff like that, I'd buy an advanced simulator, like on the PC or something like that. But I can play with joysticks and all that stuff. But that's not why I play Battlefield. The reason I play Battlefield is for the guns, the destructibility, the tactical gameplay of it. So the vehicles kind of are a turn-off for me in a lot of ways with Battlefield 3, but I do like the aspect of being able to get in like an AC-130, kind of like Call of Duty, have like a quick little kill streak or something like that, or unlock a kill streak and you get in a tank or something like that, which I guess kind of moves me on into the new Medal of Honor game. What the heck's that thing called? Warfighter, is it? The good thing about I never had Medal of Honor before, but I did play it a little bit and I kind of liked it because to me it seemed like a blend between Battlefield and Call of Duty in a good way. Realism, realistic weapons and fire rates and recoils and stuff like that, but it also kind of had the arcade feel of Call of Duty where you had kind of like kill streaks. After a few kills you'd get like a UAV scan and then you could call in a mortar strike and you could call in an air strike and with Warfighter, it looks like they're going to be doing that with some stuff that we saw if you ever played Homefront with like the mechanical little drone you can drive around with the machine gun. And it looks like they're going to have air support and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to that aspect of it. But this is one thing I would say about all first-person shooters from here on out, and it aggravates me that they don't do this, is why do we have a single-player mode in first-person shooters? I've never played it. I never have. I never will. I don't care to. All I want to do is play multiplayer, and it pains me to see them have a beautiful game like Battlefield 3 and then limit its ability by throwing a single-player campaign in there. Who cares? I know a lot of you guys like that, but I mean, you really need to realize how much you're giving up with the core mechanics of multiplayer by having a single-player variant of that game. You understand? Because the developers, first of all, will have to make the time to make that portion of the game, design it. Also, you can just run through it once in about 7 or 8 hours. I mean, that requires an immense amount of programming, designing. They got to pay actors to act it out, vocals and animations and all. I mean, that is like the majority of the game development cost is the single-player campaign, which you play through once, if you even play it. Unlike me, I don't even touch it. But let's say you play through it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of fun, but let me get into multiplayer. Well, guess what? Now half of your game development costs or more have just been tied up in the single-player campaign. So now you get the leftovers to go into multiplayer. A lot of times, you really limit the game's capabilities. Like with Battlefield 3, if I had to change something, The number one thing I would change about Battlefield 3 on console is make it 60 frames a second like Call of Duty. I like that smooth gameplay type. I'm used to it now with Battlefield 3, but believe me, if you ever play, Call of Duty again, which I really don't want to, but one thing I really did like was that smooth, seamless feel of the game. If I could have that in Battlefield 3, I would be one happy clam, but they can't. And the reason they can't is because they say with the size of the maps and how much content they have on it, they just couldn't fit it all on the disc. They can't produce it. It's too much of a hardware constraint limitation. So if you cut out all that data and all that limitation in the single player campaign, I mean that's free up a lot of room for other things you can do to improve multiplayer. Maybe give yourself more maps, speed up the gameplay, make it a higher frame rate, more weapons, really dive into the aspect of it, because let's just face it, that's what retains the long-term playability of a first-person shooter is multiplayer. People go on playing this for years if they really like the multiplayer aspect of it, but you don't hear people going on years and years talking about, hey, I really enjoyed those Spec Op missions, or I really liked the campaign. Let me just play it again and again and again. No, you play it once, you move on, and then you buy another game. Most people that play single-player campaign games and don't play multiplayer just buy a game, they play it through, they beat it, they rent it, and then they go play another game. When I buy a game like Battlefield 3, I expect to play it for years on end until the next Battlefield comes out, or another game like Medal of Honor. So it's got a lot of replayability with me. So it really frustrates me when they spend all that time wasting it on development. So I really beat that to dead. I'm really sorry I went on about that so long. I feel pretty strongly about that. Other things I think fundamentally I would change about Battlefield 3, I think they got it wrong. They had it right with Bad Company 2. I'm tired of getting outscored by assault class players. In other words, if you're an assault class guy, you've already got the best guns in the game, and then on top of that, you get the most points in the game because you have a revive kit. So you're on the front lines, with a group of other players, let's say another 2 or 3 assault guys, and you're charging up there, attacking the team, and you lose a couple guys. Next thing you know, as soon as you're dead, you're getting resurrected by your other assault class guys. To me, it should be like it was Bad Company 2, where the support class players have the defibrillators, and the assault class guys have the ammo. I really preferred that setup. So if I'm like a support class guy now in Battlefield 3, and I'm kind of sitting back a little bit and, in my bases area, and a guy gets dropped down, I can go over there and resurrect him. It shouldn't be like if I'm shooting guys on the front lines that they can just remultiply like bacteria and just resurrect the guys I just shoot down if I don't kill all 3 or 4 of them in a squad, especially since you can just spawn on another squad member. So that's one thing that really kind of, I think, fundamentally frustrates me in Battlefield 3. It's really hard to get the top score in a game if you're not assault every time. I see that day and day and day. What other things? Going on about things that really bother me here sometimes, but mainly just small things too. I'd say, like the mortar strike and the support classes, like I mentioned before, is completely useless. They've really nerfed that damage. I mean, I've gotten like 4 mortar hits on a guy before, and it still doesn't kill him. So I mean, they really need to increase the damage on that, because that piece of equipment is absolutely useless. It's pretty frustrating. Also, the kill cam's another thing that kind of aggravates me, and this would eliminate this whole teabag debacle we got going on here. Getting people raging and all that stuff. But I don't like the fact that when I get killed by a player, I have to watch them, run around or, teabag me, whatever it is. I want to see how they killed me. I want to see it from their perspective. I want to see if it looks the same as it did from my vantage point. How they moved, for like the last few seconds, what gun they're using, all that stuff. So if I could see that, kind of like, I guess, from Call of Duty, I think that's another thing Call of Duty had good. It kind of makes it interesting. Now, of course, if you're playing hardcore, I don't recommend that being in there, because that gives away your position if you're, holding down an alleyway or something like that. But if you're just playing normal core like most of us do, then that'd be kind of a nice alternative. Let's see, I talked about Medal of Honor Warfighter. I think that's going to be a pretty decent game. Again, I've already seen some of the E3 footage about the single player walkthrough again. I was bored to tears within seconds. It's the same old crap, storming the beach, You know, you're in a squad and you're going to the door to breach the door, and guess what happens after you breach the door? We got the slow motion animation going through, and you're shooting 5 guys. I'm like, how many times have we seen that in every single first-person shooter? I'm just tired of it. Move on from it. Black Ops, well, yeah. The new Black Ops 2 coming out. You know what? I've fallen for that once already with Modern Warfare 3. I'm tired of the whole Call of Duty wagging the tail thing. I'm done with it. You know, I'm not going to be interested in Black Ops 2. I'm really not going to be interested in any Call of Duty from here on out. Don't get me wrong, I got a lot of fun enjoyment out of those games, but now I'm looking for Battlefield-type gameplay. But, again, there's some things that are frustrating me, too, about Battlefield 3. Like vehicles, for example. I just can't stand it how one group of guys in a tank, a good tank crew, can just troll a team for, you know, an entire match. Get a 40 kill streak or something crazy like that, and you just can't do anything, take it out. That's overpowered to me. So, you know, some of the aspects of the vehicles that really frustrate me, or a guy in a jet that's just, you know, godlike in a jet, and there's nothing you can do to take out a good jet player. You can shoot 100 stingers at him, he'll never go away. You know, you can get in the jet, good luck with that one, and then they just dominate the air. So that kind of stuff frustrates me. But, you know, if they could find a way, I think they may have the answer here with Medal of Honor. I don't know a lot of the specifics on it, but they take the Battlefield 3 kind of gameplay, integrate some of the action that you see in Call of Duty, and I think that'd really be a good first-person shooter. Those are the main topics I want to talk about, guys. Just covered most of the things on my mind about all that. I don't know what else to say. One other thing I just want to mention about the Recon class. So, what's up with these bolt-action sniper rifles not killing a one-shot? I've tried the M98, the L96. It's very inconsistent. I think it's a useless class. They really need to up the damage to where when that bullet hits anywhere in your body, you're down. You're dead, you know? But, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe it if you enjoyed what you watched. I'll have more to come. This is Windshear. Thanks for watching.